Welcome back, everybody. The family of Rex Heuermann held a press conference Friday, expressing their shock and trying to process their new reality that the lifelong family man that they knew is suspected of being a serial killer. The life of Manhattan architect Rex Heuermann has been turned upside down since he was arrested and charged with the murders of 3 women. He's also suspected in a 4th. All 4 women were found wrapped in burlap on Long Island's Gilgo Beach, right across the bay from the suspect's home. But it was DNA evidence that pointed investigators in Heuermann's direction. As the quest for evidence continues, a seemingly well-put-together family is falling apart. Prosecutors revealed that the suspect lived a double life, using burner phones and email accounts to meet escorts and search for child pornography, all while living under the same roof as his wife, daughter, and stepson. Heuermann's estranged wife, Asa Ellerup, has since filed for divorce and has publicly denied any involvement in her husband's alleged crimes. Attorneys for Ellerup and the rest of her family shared more details at Friday's press conference. Ellerup has cancer, and her attorney said she will soon run out of money to cover her treatments. The family's home also remains severely damaged from the recent raid by investigators. An attorney for Heuermann's children announced the family's next steps.
This case is going to be a very long time in the making, and through that process, obviously, we've talked about in the past few days that the law requires them, in order to preserve those legal rights and remedies, to file certain legal documents at certain intervals. If they don't do that, they will have waived those rights in the public forum. So we are, at this point, announcing that the children and Ms. Ellerup, on her behalf, are going to be protecting those legal rights and remedies by filing what's called a notice of claim. That notice of claim is going to be filed within the next 30 days, and that obviously is a legal prerequisite to filing a lawsuit, and it has to be done because otherwise those rights are waived. And that's what's going to happen. When it happens, obviously we'll let you all know, we'll let you folks know what the content of it is, but that's the announcement that we have to make. In closing, I'd like to echo my colleagues' statements. At this time, the family again requests truly and honestly that their rights and liberties have to be protected, and a part of that, again, is that the focus is on their basic needs, their food, their water, their shelter, their clothing, okay? And that's their paramount concern right now. It is those basic human needs that all of us have that have been ripped apart from them. So we ask you again, please respect their privacy, please know that they're going through a horrific emotional time that none of us could imagine, and let the legal process run its course.
Okay, there's a few things I want to break down here. First, is it normal for a home or a property to be destroyed during a raid? Because he's innocent right now. He's innocent until proven guilty.
I mean, it's not just him. His family is far more innocent than he is. They have no allegations. Yes, unfortunately, this is a common occurrence and a common conversation I have with parents and landlords who have people who have their tenants searched, where their home, property, and even vehicles can be destroyed. And the thing that most disturbing to me is vehicles. When they search a vehicle, like, for example, pull open a panel of a door to search to see if there's drugs inside, they just need to make sure the car is operable when it's given back. The panel of a door is not a part of the operation of the car, so people are left with parts of the car missing or left open, and like, you got to figure it out.
And does the city ever pay for it? I mean, I know she said her attorney said they're going to file a notice of claim in anticipation of a lawsuit. Do they ever get any money back for this?
So that really depends on what county and what state you're in. Sometimes if you ask, they'll pay, but if you want to force them to do so, it is very difficult. There's usually 2 different avenues, and both of them often lead in a dead end. Some people go under the 5th Amendment and the taking clause, and they say, hey, you took something, you damaged my property, and you didn't give me fair compensation. Well, the state or the city will come back around and say, well, it's not for public use. And when people bring
what does
that
mean?
Well, in the taking clause, if the state or the government takes something for you for public use, they're supposed to give you fair compensation.
Couldn't they say they're doing a public benefit by getting doing a public investigation?
And that's what I say as well. The public benefit is that you're taking this criminal off the streets. But no, the courts still get them around that. Oftentimes the courts say, this is a tort that you want to file against the city. But if you file a tort against the city, you have to show that that search warrant was unreasonable. Show me how you're going to show that this search warrant was unreasonable. We were talking about the Gilgo Beach murders, and you're trying to get a connection between 3 women that were dead and the man in that house. Very difficult.
And real quick, this notice of claim, what is it? How does it work? Is it going to be successful at all? Or no?
Oh, notice of claim is just letting the state comptroller or whoever it may be based in your county know within 90 days, if it's here in New York, which it is, that we are going to sue you and we're going to ask for this. It's just you can't sue the state or the county or the city without letting them know first.
Well, my heart goes out to the the family, and I didn't know that she was sick. That's equally as difficult to think about. So I'm glad she has legal representation, because this is a serious issue, and I'm curious to see what might be the end result, if she'll get any money back or any compensation based on what happened. All right, when we come back, an Iowa sex offender stands trial in the murder of a young girl. Family ties between the victim and defendant, and what a police sergeant revealed on the stand. And we finish today's show with a recap out of Iowa in the trial of defendant Henry Dinkins. He's the man accused of kidnapping and ultimately killing a 10-year-old girl found shot to death in a pond. In July of 2020, Breasia Terrell and her brother were staying with Dinkins and his girlfriend overnight in the Iowa city of Davenport. Dinkins is the father of Breasia's half-brother, and the kid's mother told reporters that neither she nor Breasia felt unsafe around him. But at some point during the night, it is believed that Dinkins took Breasia from the apartment and killed her. Her disappearance prompted a massive search that lasted for 8 months. And then in March of 2021, fishermen spotted the missing girl's body in a pond about 25 miles away from Davenport. At that time, Dinkins was actually locked up on an unrelated charge. You see, it turns out he's a sex offender who had been released early from prison, but he was required to register. Police say he didn't do that, so they arrested him. Then, when Breasia's remains were found, they charged him with kidnapping and murder. Now, this is a unique case because Dinkins opted for a bench trial. This means that a jury will not be involved, and the defendant's fate will ultimately be decided by a judge. The prosecution gave their opening statement Thursday, while the defense opted to wait until their case begins. On Friday, the judge heard several prosecution witnesses, including a Davenport police sergeant. During his testimony, both parties brought up interesting facts in the case.
We were able to observe Henry Dinkins' maroon Chevy Impala in the parking lot of Walmart, and then further we observed Henry Dinkins walk from his Chevy Impala into the Walmart.
And then what did he do there?
Within the store, he purchased 2 bottles of Clorox bleach.
Okay. What time of the morning would that have occurred, and what date?
It was just after 7 a.m. On the morning of July 10th.
And is that before he's made the telephone call to Aisha at 8:08 a.m. to report to her that Breasia is missing?
Yes, it's before that.
Okay.
We don't have any blood of Breasia Terrell anywhere in this case, do we?
No.
We don't have any blood in that Impala, do we?
None.
See, I think that part's big. If they catch him buying bleach and they don't have the blood, I guess the assumption is he used the bleach to bleach the blood away, no?
Yeah, but you can bleach blood stains away, not necessarily blood away. It's one of those true crime things.
You mean he covered it up and didn't commit the crime?
No. So if there was blood here and we took bleach, right, or let's get one of these, right? We'll do Michael Bryant. We'll do a little demonstration.
Yeah.
Blood here, get bleach. We can get this nice and white, but it doesn't mean that someone can't test this and still get blood from it. So if you say we didn't see blood and there was bleach used, and that makes sense. But if you tested, you should still see it even though you bleached it. So I think that's a bit of a red herring. For me, the defense makes more sense of saying, hey, there was a shirt with blood, there was an axe with blood, there was blood on other things, so why not clean it all up? The fact that there's no blood inside in the bleach, I think is a bit of a red herring, but I think it's interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, what do you make of that her blood wasn't found on those items?
She was killed not in the car. She was never brought back into the car. Maybe she was killed at the pond and then dumped there. Or, if you're to the defense, the car had nothing to do with it. She was never in the car to begin with. There was no foul play in the car. Depends on what facts you want to lead with.
Talk about the car. So the only evidence that Breasia was in the car was from this eyewitness saying that they saw her outside of the Chevy Impala at night. Is that strong enough for the prosecution?
I think it's good, but I think the defense can really work with it because you go, okay, what time of night was it? It's like 11 o'clock at night when this witness saw it. How far were you? How good is your vision? Are you wearing glasses? You're not wearing glasses. Did you just wake up? Were you drinking that night? That kind of death by 1,000 paper cuts of questions to see how substantial that is. And then also, you saw her outside the car, but did you ever see her go in the car? Because simply seeing her outside doesn't necessarily mean that she went with him. Maybe, like many children, they run out and they see daddy or mommy or stepdad or whoever it is, and they say, no, go back inside, daddy's just going for a ride. You don't know.
So you think there's avenues for the defense? We will see. Brian, great to see you. Great talking with you as always. Thanks everybody for joining us here on Law&Crime Daily. We're going to see you next time as we discuss justice in America.